Hello there! Nate here from Physiological, the band, and as of the last couple of posts on the brand new blog, I've been talking about my project Labyrinth, or our project Labyrinth, because I'm also using Kenneth is recording the drums, and got some other guests on it, and so on. So it's a big collab project, and it is the Physiological is a band which is sort of metamorphoses is the correct word, I think, depending on the kind of sound that we're looking for, changing in with guests and different people. But what I thought I'd do, because I've been mentioning a lot about the project, is I'd show you around one of the tracks, which is called Weak, and it's a song which is basically about trying to make it through life when things are really tough by pure self-discipline and anger and aggression and all those positive, negative things. Those feelings which can sometimes be seen as negative, which are in fact positive, really, if you look at them as a way of getting things done. Anyhow, that's the story of the project. This is more aimed at people who are already making music, so a lot of the people that I know from Reverb Nation and so on, the different sites, and it really assumes that you've got some knowledge of recording. I'm just going to show you around. It's a little introduction to how I work with the project in the creative phase, not in the mixing and the post-production and mastering, but in the actual pre-production and creative phase, okay? This is the project, as you can see up here on Nuendo, my weapon of choice. Basically what I think of as the absolute coolest of sequencers. I've been with them since the very first. Steinberg came with the very first version of Nuendo, and I'm up to 5, and I think it's 5, isn't it? Let's have a look. 4, sorry. I haven't gone over to 5 as of yet, because basically I can't afford to go up to number 5. It's a very expensive piece of kit. I'm also running Reason as well. Let's have a look at the Reason version we're on. We're also on 5. We're on 5 for Reason here. Now, I'm using Reason, basically I'm bringing Reason in for bass at the moment. I do occasionally use just Reason. We'll come back to that in a later blog post and vid post, because I actually use software as some traditional musicians would use an instrument, because I feel that different software gives me different sounds and is more suited to different types of music. So, without further ado, I've had enough coffee this morning, so I'm ready to go. I'll take you through what's going on here. Basically, let's start with the kind of music that the Labyrinth is electronic and also rock as well. It's kind of alternative rock is the whole concept behind it. So it's using a combination of synths and traditional guitars, traditional bass, live drums, program drums. All of the recording is being done in a what you would call a traditional studio, soundproofed. We can scream, bang drums hard, make lots of noise. This is my home studio where I bring everything back, and me or if anybody else is involved, the other guys, this is where we do all of the actual putting together of the bits and pieces. So let's look at this. I don't know if you know Nuendo, but it's a fairly traditional sequencer in the way that it looks. What we've got here is we've got some folders of the different elements. Let's start off with the drums. Basically, I'm bringing in drums from using battery, pretty much an industry standard. What I've done here is I've got lots of apologies, by the way, for the delay on everything. The way that I'm having to do this, I can't use my usual sound card and so on to make this video. I'm having to use the built-in drivers on this computer, which is meaning that there's going to be a little bit of delay on latency, as the term is. What we've got here is we've got all of our different drums all set up here. What I've also done is I've used batteries sampling to allow me to have some backbeat loops, which are very heavily EQ'd for top end, because they're sort of backbeats in a way. You've got your main kick and snare down here. So that's the drums. I mean, basically multi-layers of drums you've got going on there. Guitars, I'm using, let's have a look here. We've got the main guitar here, which is distorted, processed, and what I'm using for that, let's have a look here, is we're using the good old Native Instruments guitar rig, which is fantastic for guitars. Everything I need. I've built up a rack here using a traditional sort of guitar setup to get a good traditional guitar sound. Let's close it down, keep things neat and tidy, seeing as I'm trying to show you something here. Vocals, basically I've doubled the main vocal, to give it a bit more, to make it a bit more fat.
Give me more energy.
You got two vocals going on there, with the double singing exactly the same melody, but the small nuances between the two mean that it gives it a much more fat sound. The double vox down here, the double of the vocal, is a lot lower than the main vocal in the mix. I've got some harmonies which come in later. Let's see if we can isolate those. All sorts of harmonies going on actually in this song, but an example is this one, which is underneath. Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Bass. As I said, I'm bringing in bass I created a machine over here, a Thor machine over here in Reason, which you can see here, and kind of a nice fat bass sound, which is coming from that one. What would be, I think some people would consider this to be, let's say, a kind of, I've got to wire this up. There's this horrible little bug which I've got, which is sometimes it loses the connection with Reason, or the mapping to Reason, which is a bit annoying. Anyhow, deep fat bass there going on, coming in from Reason. Love that stuff. And then my latest toy, which I just have to show you, is the Alchemy. I do love Alchemy. It's really nice. Got some nice stuff there, yeah? Got that whooshing coming in. And there's kind of a lead line later on. Which again is coming in from Alchemy, which is a heavy filtered piano. So that's more or less the elements of the song. Everything else is going to be a kind of decoration after that, really. I'm not going to unveil the song now. You've heard a lot of the different elements because, you know, it would kind of be like releasing it before it's released, which is kind of a bit weird. Don't want to do that because I don't feel it's in any way close to being finished. Although the creative part, which is the building of the track, is more or less finished. The actual construction, if you like, of the whole thing. So, in summary, what I'm doing is I'm using bass from Reason. Drums are coming in from basically program drums on this track, not all of them. And then we're going to be recording some live drums, which are going to work into play, sort of not playing exactly the same thing, but going to be filling out the sound, which is going to be coming back to that at a later date. Then we've got the Vox, an acoustic guitar, which I recorded, which didn't suit this track. I did mess about with it a bit and added some really heavy filtering. Maybe I'll come back to that, who knows. Still not sure that that's it. It's a bit sweet for this track, which is an industrial track, really. Where was I? And I got as far as saying, yeah, so you've got the harmonies going on with the vocals and the main heavy guitar. So that is the track week. I'm going to be coming back to this almost like a kind of diary kind of thing to show you how I'm doing with it. But now that this is more or less fully constructed, I'm actually going to take a rest from this track and move on to another one, another track. So I'll probably come back and introduce that as well. So that was a brief introduction to how I am with how I actually go about the creative process and getting things recorded. I hope it was of some interest, and it was a hell of a lot easier than actually writing everything on the blog. Anyway, okay, cheers for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.